The introductory problem that I'm going to use is something that you should readily follow um, because we've already talked about silver nitrate and sodium chloride. The silver is going to adhere more strongly to the chlorine and form a precipitate. So if we're going to go through and label these, this would be aqueous. This would be aqueous. This would be solid. And this would be aqueous. So the question is, how much sodium chloride must be added to 1.5 liters of 0.1 molar silver nitrate to precipitate all to silver chloride, or to allow the completion of the reaction? And it's not as complicated as it sounds. You got 1.5 liters of silver ions. Now you say, wait a minute, it's silver chloride. But note that it's 1-to-1. Thus, it's going to be the same number of ions of each in the reaction, or 0.1 molar. So you have 0.1 moles of silver and 0.1 moles of nitrate. The nitrate stays in solution, so it's not a factor, and we ignore that. So you got 0.1 moles of silver per liter times 1.5 liters gives you 0.150 moles of the silver ions, which you're trying to get out of solution. In order to do that, you have to add the equivalent, which is 0.150 moles of sodium chloride. Now you say, well, okay, how do I get that? Well, to get 1.5 moles, or 0.15 moles of sodium chloride, you multiply the number of moles times the molecular weight of sodium chloride. And sodium weighs 23, and the chlorine weighs 35.5. Where did I get that? I pulled it out of my hat? No. You looked on a periodic table, which again, I mentioned from day one. A wise move is to go out, heck, even buy yourself a periodic table, or find some other person who has an old science book. Almost every science book has a periodic table in it, where if worst comes to worst, go online and find a periodic table of the elements and download it. Get yourself a periodic table available. So you've got a couple, 3 charts and a periodic table that you should have at hand. Now, if you go out and get yourself a used chemistry book, you might be able to not download the periodic table because they all have a periodic table in them. But I recommend you have one available. That way you can get the atomic masses easily. So anyway, we've got the atomic mass of sodium chloride is 58.45 grams per 1 mole. You multiply those things out and it gives you the mass, because everything else cancels out. As you can see, the moles will cancel out. They cancel out, and you're left with grams of sodium chloride, and that comes out to be 8.77 grams of sodium chloride, causes the maximum precipitation to form silver chloride. Go over it several times, because I mean, you can always come back to this and freeze it. I mean, the powers of the computer are infinite in this case. Let's see if I can lean back so you can see everything perfectly clearly. For some reason, this thing only focuses it 100% when I lean back like this. It allows you to see everything clearly and completely. Okay, I'll do another example. I just better shut this off.